Hello, my name is Tracy, and for our project today, we're going to be making these pair of earrings. We will be using WaveTrios, and I'm going to be using the antique brass WaveTrios. We're going to be using some Potomac crystals. We'll be using the Potomac crystal briolettes in the 6 by 12 millimeter size, and I'm going to be using the metallic green iris color. We'll be using some Potomac crystal rondelles in the 3 by 4 millimeter size, and I'm going to be using the metallic blue iris color. We'll be using some 11O seed beads, and I'm going to be using the Duracoat galvanized champagne gold color. We'll need a few 15O seed beads, and I'm going to use the Duracoat galvanized champagne gold color in that as well. We'll also need a wire guard and an ear wire. So let's gather up our materials and get started. All right, to start off our project, I have a size 12 beading needle, and I'm going to be using the green 0.006 dragon thread. I have about 2 feet of thread. You may need between 1.5 to 2 feet of thread. I also added a stop bead to the end of my thread, leaving maybe about 4 inches of a tail. So to begin with, we want to pick up one of our Wavetrio beads. We're going to go through one of the end holes. We'll pick up one of our rondelle crystals and then 2 11O seed beads. I'll let those drop down. We're going to pick up our briolette. Then we're going to get 2 more 11O seed beads, another rondelle crystal, and then we're going to pick up another Wavetrio going through one of the holes on the end like that. And that's what you'll have. Now we want to pick up 3 11O seed beads. We're going to come through the middle hole of the Wavetrio our thread is currently exiting. We're going to pick up a 15O seed bead. We'll pick up another Wavetrio and we'll go through it like this. Going through that bottom hole of that Wavetrio. We'll pick up one more rondelle crystal. We'll pick up another Wavetrio and we're going to go through the bottom hole like this. We'll pick up another 15O seed bead. And we're going to go through the middle hole of this Wavetrio on this side. And when we pull tight, this is what we'll have. I'm going to pick up 3 11O seed beads. And we want to come back through this bottom hole on the Wavetrio our thread is currently exiting. So I'm just going to move our stop bead out of the way, and then we'll go through the Wavetrio. We'll go through that rondelle crystal. Go through the 2 11Os. Go through the briolette too. We'll go through these two 11-0s right here. We'll go through the rondelle, and then we'll exit out on this of the Wavetrio on this side. I'm gonna pull tight, and the earring is gonna be just a little wobbly right now until we get a few more stitches on. All right, so now we want to come up the 3 11-0 seed beads on this side. We're going to go through that middle hole of the Wavetrio, and we're also going to go through that 15-0 seed bead. So we're basically retracing our thread path. Hold tight and go through the Wavetrio, the rondelle, and the Wavetrio. Go through that 15-0 and then exit out of the next Wavetrio. And be sure you don't want to sew through any of the beads on the side, so just exit the Wavetrio. And that's what you'll have right now. So now we want to pick up 3 11-0 seed beads. We're going to go through the top hole of this Wavetrio on the side. We'll pick up a rondelle. And we're going to go through the next Wavetrio going through the middle hole there. We'll pick up a 15-0 seed bead. I'm going to let that drop down. And then we're going to go through the middle hole of the next Wavetrio. I'm just going to bring it forward just a little bit so I can get through. And then I'm going to slowly pull my thread so it doesn't get caught. All right, pull tight. We'll pick up one more rondelle. We'll let that drop down. And then we're going to go through the top hole of this Wavetrio on this side. Now we want to pick up 3 more 11-0s. Let that drop down. We're going to sew through the middle hole of the Wavetrio our thread is currently exiting. Be sure that we don't sew through any of the seed beads that are already on the side. We just want to go straight through our Wavetrio. So we want to sew through that Wavetrio and then sew through the 15-0 seed bead that follows. We'll sew through the next Wavetrio, the rondelle, and the Wavetrio that follows that. And we'll also go through the 15-0 after that. And then we're going to exit out of the Wavetrio on this side, coming through that middle hole. I'm going to pull tight. Let's come up the 3 11-0 seed beads at the top here. They're the topmost 3 11-0 seed beads. We're going to go back through our Wavetrio, this top hole, go through the rondelle. We're going to go through the Wavetrio, the 15-0, and the Wavetrio that follows. I want to make sure I catch my 15-0. right, let's go through our rondelle and then go through our Wavetrio on the other side here. And we want to make sure we exit out of the Wavetrio. We don't want to sew through any of the 11 O's that are on the side. And that's what we'll have so far. So now we're going to pick up 4 11 C beads. We're going to come up to the top hole of this Wavetrio. Pick up a rondelle crystal. Let that drop down. We'll go through the top hole of the next Wavetrio. Pick up 4 more 11 C beads. We're going to come back over to this Wavetrio and go through that top hole there. So we'll go through the Wavetrio and the rondelle. Go through the Wavetrio, the 15-0, and the Wavetrio that follows. Then we'll go through this next rondelle and exit out of the Wavetrio on that side. And then we're going to go back up through these 4 11 C beads. We'll come through the Wavetrio, the crystal, and then exit out of the Wavetrio. All right, so with our thread exiting out of the Wavetrio, we want to pick up 3 11 C beads. We're going to go up one side of our wire guard and back down the other. Making sure our thread sits in that channel. Okay. Let's pick up 3 more 11 C beads. We're going to come back on this side and go through the top hole of our Wavetrio, go through our rondelle crystal, and then exit out of the Wavetrio on the other side. So I'm going to retrace that or reinforce it and go back up through those 3 11 O's, go back through our wire guard. I'm going to pull tight down the other side of our wire guard. Just going to make sure it sits in the channel there, and then come through, back down through those 3 11 O's on the side. And that's what we'll have so far. So now what we want to do is we want to sew down along the side of our earring, going through the 11 O's, all the 11 O's on this side. And that's going to help straighten out some of the 11 O's because some of them are not sitting quite right, or how we would like them to sit. So we'll go through all of them, and that should straighten them out a little bit. You see how this one is kind of sitting against the Wavetrio. We want to pull that out a little so we can get through it. All right, there we go. All right, so right here is where we want to add 6 11/0 beads. And we're going to come over to, you see this 11/0? That's right before our briolette. We're going to sew through that 11/0. We're going to sew through the briolette and then sew through the 1 11/0 that follows. Just like that. We'll pick up 6 more 11/0 seed beads. We're going to come over to this the other side of the earring. The bottom hole of this Wavetrio, we're going to go through that and then sew through the rondelle crystal. Just push your stop bead out of the way if it's in the way, and that's what we'll have. All right, so now we're exiting that rondelle. We're just going to kind of retrace the thread path along the bottom. So let's go through the 2 11/0 seed beads. Go through our briolette and go back up through the 2 11/0 seed beads and then through our rondelle. After the rondelle, we're going to sew through our Wavetrio. We'll come back through these 6 11/0 seed beads here. Back through that 11/0, our briolette. And the 11/0 that follows it. And then we're going to go back through those 6 11/0 seed beads we added. Now we want to start coming up on this side of our earring. So start going through the 11/0s on this side. And just pull tight there. Once we get to the top, and I'm almost there, we're going to go through our wire guard one more time. Go back down through the other side. Make sure your bead goes through the channel, the wire guard. And that is pretty much it. All we want to do now is tie off our threads. So I'm going to sew down through, see, these 3 11/0s here. Go through this 1 11/0. And here I'm just going to tie like 2 knots. Maybe sew through 2 more. Tie 1 more knot, and then just going to sew through 1 more bead, and we'll burn off our working thread. All right. So I'm going to take off our stop bead and add a needle. Just going to sew up through a couple of beads on this side. And tie a couple of knots. Sew through 1 more bead. And I'm just gonna burn that thread off. All right, so now all we need to do is attach our ear wire. And we are done. And now we have our earrings all complete. So a couple of design ideas for this earring. You could possibly use not only just one color of rondelles, but you could use maybe multiple colors in one, in one earring, and that will kind of maybe give it a stained glass look. I also think these earrings look almost like holiday trees, like Christmas trees. So you can decorate it with, you can add different colored rondelles and make it look like their ornaments. Or you can also have different color rondelles to indicate birthstones if you want to get this as like a Mother's Day gift. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.